Hello everyone, my name is XIV, and in this video I will be doing my best to break down and analyze the first teaser trailer for Final Fantasy XIV's new expansion titled Endwalker. Despite it being only a 3-minute long trailer, there is a lot we can get out of it in terms of symbolism and hints for what could be going on during the events of Endwalker. Of course, none of what I say is guaranteed to happen or likely will happen, and it is entirely speculation at this point. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so right as the trailer opened, we see the moon, and in the next shot we are shown the Warrior of Light, of course, walking on the moon. Because of course he is. Well, this is a joke that has become reality now. What is really important here is the garb that we see the Warrior of Light wearing at this point. The thing in front of us here that looks like an Ascian is actually the Warrior of Light, but the fact he looks like an Ascian here is entirely intentional, of course. During the Shadowbringers MSQ, we learned that the Warrior of Light is a piece of the sundered Ascian Azem, who was the 14th member of the Convocation of 14, the same group that eventually created Zodiark. This shot makes me think that we are going to become more in touch with our Ascian side during the main story of Endwalker, and we will almost certainly learn more about Azem and maybe even be granted some more of their power to overcome Zodiark in what is no doubt the final battle of the expansion. And who knows, we may actually become a full Ascian by the end of 6.0. The Azem plotline really has too many major ramifications to the player's identity, and is of too much importance for Square to measly brush off and act like it never happened, and this shot lines up perfectly with that plotline. This shot is also full of symbolism as we see the path illuminated in front of him by the light of the world behind him. That world is referred to as Hydaelyn, who is the Mother Crystal. The Warrior of Light is literally walking in the light of the crystal here. But that light is waning much like Hydaelyn's power is waning. The light still is strong and shines brightly, but it could falter and dissipate at any second. I think the fact that everything not in the light is much darker and looks almost covered by shadow supports this. The light is guiding the warrior's path.
The fabric of the star had begun to fray, its lands rent by tooth and claw.
Oh boy, the final days. The final days were the climactic event that ended up shattering the Ascians' world into 14 shards. While we saw the unsundered Ascians' anger at this event and their desire to undo it in Shadowbringers, one of our new antagonists, the sundered Ascian Fandaniel, has the goal of bringing about the final days once more so he can destroy literally everything. While we still don't know too much about Fandaniel, we do know that much. This piece of dialogue suggests that Fandaniel will indeed succeed in bringing about the final days for the second time, and that it will ultimately fall to the Warrior of Light to prevent the fabric of the star from fraying, as the trailer alludes to.
Are you alright?
I can look after myself, you know. And I've had enough of this rabble. Come on!
In the action piece of this trailer, we see Alize with a costume change in what looks like the new zone of Thavnair, doing battle against a monster. She's injured and the Warrior of Light comes in and saves her, revealing to us that the spotlight is on Paladin this expansion, like it was Dark Knight in Shadowbringers. Since Shadowbringers was so dark and of course had Dark Knight as its mascot, it only makes sense that in the expansion where we finally bring everything to a close and the battle between light and dark finally comes to an end, we take on the most stereotypical warrior of light type figure ever in a Paladin. And I personally could not be any more happy and excited about their choice because Paladin is the class I main. Alfino then comes in and gives us a look at the Sage class, which he has taken up, though the reason for why he has taken up this class remains a mystery at the moment. We see Fandaniel in a room staring into a pit of flames, and as he leaves we see him get on what seems to be an elevator. This room looks very draconic, which is on brand for Fandaniel, and gives a hint that Fandaniel may be using dragons to bring about the final days once more. While this is relatively sound, my speculation is that the reason that the devs have been tying everything back into Heavensward so heavily lately is that we will see many characters from Heavensward playing very big roles in the Endwalker story. Dragons and Heavensward go hand in hand, and although Nidhogg is dead, his brood lives on. So in Endwalker, we may very well see a dragon apocalypse of sorts with powerful dragons and Nidhogg's brood bringing about the final days alongside Fandaniel.
Past the far edge of fate, ring blades dark and light, tolling the coming of the end.
At least that is what Fandaniel's declaration and where he is in the trailer lead me to believe. Past the far edge of fate, winged blades, dark and light told me the coming of the end. This line of Zenos is really cryptic. As many of you would know, patch 3.5 is called the far edge of fate, and we are far beyond that, of course. But this also ties in and supports my theory of Heavensward being very important in the upcoming expansion, since 3.5 was one of its patches. I do not know what he means by winged blades, but Dark and Light is an obvious reference to the battle between Hydaelyn and Zodiark. And of course he mentions being told of the coming of the end or the final days. If it was not Fandaniel, then who exactly told Zenos of their coming remains a mystery. Of course, no one could have told him that at all, and it could just be in his dreams for all we know. But that leads me to wonder, what Ascian is Zenos a reincarnation of? Because he does have the Echo, it means that his Ascian wasn't sacrificed to Zodiark. Personally, I think of Hythlodaeus, due to his apparent fondness for the Warrior of Light, going so far as to refer to us as a friend. Know who else was friends? Azem and Hythlodaeus. This would explain his fondness for the Warrior of Light if he is somehow regaining his memories of being an Ascian. Of course, this is pretty wild speculation, and it could very well be that the powers of the Echo and the Resonant that he possesses are the ones giving him these visions. But who knows, we'll find out, I guess, in 6.0. The actual visuals of this section give a lot to unpack too. We see Zenos upon a throne watching things burn, fitting for his character of course, and his desires to see everything burn. We then are brought back to the moon, and I love the following shot. In this shot, we see the Warrior of Light in the amazing looking new Paladin set turn and strike a battle pose in front of the world, and it pretty clearly shows that he is protecting it by his stance and the way the scene is framed. In this segment, the camera zooms out and shows us the difference between the light side of the moon and the dark side of the moon. I wouldn't be surprised if they are different zones entirely because of this difference. This scene transitions into the logo, which shows the moon and its craters, which may be placed intentionally due to story events, but may be also not, and they may just be there for stylistic purposes. We see something coming out of the moon that appears to be a sword of some kind when you look closely at what may be a handle. However, it could be many other things, like possibly the tower Zenos and Fandaniel were in, or the ship we used to get onto the moon to begin with, or pretty much anything else that you can think of, really. So that is everything I can get out of this trailer, but it is a lot for a 3-minute trailer. Of course, we also got our release window for the expansion, which is fall of 2021, so it's less than 9 months away, which is really exciting. We'll see how this video ages when 6.0 eventually comes out. But that is going to be all for me. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. I'm hoping to hit 100 subscribers by the end of the year, but we may be able to hit it faster with your contribution. Anyway, as always, my name is Lakaidem. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.